Greetings and what up, though? It's your boy, Jason Jamerson. Welcome to the Jason Jamerson podcast. And who I have with me today, my man's 100 grams, my cousin, Kev B. What's going on, Kev?
What up, though, cuz? Happy to see you, brother.
Hey, man, happy to be seen and not viewed. And that's literally right now, man. Literally. As y'all can see, if y'all watching, I am broadcasting from my home today. I'm in a corner. You would think I'm in trouble or something. I'm just sitting here in the corner right now.
On timeout.
And that is I'm in timeout. And that is because your boy is on the upswing. He just did a 5-day bid at Henry Ford Hospital. I'm gonna talk about that in just a second. Well, Kev, how you been, man?
Thank you for asking. I'm doing okay. Too blessed to be stressed. Let me say that first. But I'm doing all right. A lot of things going on. The weather's getting good. I recently moved in, and I'm glad you're doing well. So that takes a lot off my mind and my heart and stuff like that. So I'm fortunate, bro.
Yeah, I feel you. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna get into how crazy God work in excuse me in just a second when we when it comes to you and my hospital visit. But yeah, so a lot of people was wondering why I kept canceling for the last 2 weeks. That's what it is. My camera crooked. But yeah, a lot of people have been asking, wondering why I canceled the last 2 weeks. So last 2 weeks, originally, right after the last show that we did, I found out I was exposed to somebody who had COVID-19. And so I did a test. I tested positive. I didn't feel nothing that whole week. I was good. That weekend, I was toe down. And so that next Monday, I'm like, all right, I could do the show. And yeah, my body was like, nah, you straight. Like, you can go back on the couch. And so that was the first week. The next week after that, I wanted to do the show, but I found I had this ridiculous pain in like my rib area. And I thought I like bruised a rib or something by mistake or somehow. I didn't know how it happened because I literally went to sleep at 10, woke up at midnight with the pain. So I'm like, how did this happen in like 2 hours? And so I ended up all day long. I was just, in pain, got on a heating pad and whatnot and messed around, went to the emergency room, and they ultimately admitted me into the hospital because of excuse me. That's not a COVID cough, just so y'all know.
Hey, you can't cough no more.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, the COVID is gone. I do have ultimately they found that I have pneumonia and blood clotting in my right lung. And so that cough is when I talk too much or my lungs expand too much, it starts hitting my rib. And when it hits my rib, it irritates it and forces me to cough. So it's not that, it's not that I got COVID anymore or anything. It's just that's just what's going on. But yeah, man. I was in the hospital for 5 days. Originally, they they thought I probably had like kidney stones or something like that. I said, first of all, I'm too young to have kidney stones. I'm only 32 with kidney stones. And as the week progressed, ultimately it turned into like, no, you don't got kidney stones. You got blood clots. I'm like, man, I'm too young to have blood clots too. What's going on? So yeah, I need to stop listening to old school music. I think that's what that is. Because I think I'm turning into what I listen to. I think that's what that is exactly.
Hey, man, I will say thank you for sharing that. Like I said, I'm glad you're doing well and up and, just being lively. I think, most people who know you know that, that's part of your personality. That's what attracts and retains people, just being in your circle and wanting you to come in. But I want you to know, it's no such thing as too young for kidney stones. I know a lot of professional athletes that get them, people who are well into health and fitness. And so it can happen to any of us.
Yeah, that's true. But when you in the hospital, you go from having nothing to kidney stones. Like, where did this come from? How I get kidney stones? Like, I didn't even know black people got them like that. The only time I seen them was on like Seinfeld or something like that. Like the whole episode about kidney stones passing. I don't. But
it sounds painful too, by the way. So shout out to people with kidney stones right now. I hope y'all get through that.
So listen, when I tell you that was the worst pain in my life, I was in the waiting room. First of all, I don't know where all these RNs are that went to, they was going to nursing school to get through, stripping through nursing school. I don't know where all y'all are, but I'm pretty sure there's hospitals hiring because I was in that waiting room for 4 hours, the emergency room waiting room for 4 hours. I was there in the worst pain of my life. Like I've never gotten up to ask the people in the triage, like, do y'all got some medicine I can take now while I'm waiting to see the doctor? Like I needed something immediately. I was that person. I was like, how many more before me? I was in the worst pain of my life for 4 hours. And you know what I'm saying? Like that junk, it took 4 hours to get me back there. And I got to the point I was about to fall on the floor. And I was out loud saying, like, usually you be praying to yourself when you in pain or something like that, you in public. Man, when I tell you, I was so unashamed in that hospital waiting room. I'm sitting there like, Jesus, please send somebody back here to take me back. Jesus, send somebody with a wheelchair back here right now to take me back there. Because I needed anything, bro. I was in the worst pain of my life. And so they took me back there, and it was so busy. I didn't even have a room when they took me back there. It was just me and like 4 other people in beds lined up in the hallway.
In the hallway, y'all was chilling?
We were just, I was in pain. They was chilling. They was chilling. There was a dude. The funny thing, when I first got there, it was me and it was like all older Caucasian people. And the dude who was in the bed in front of me, who I could see as soon as he got up every time I went to the bathroom, was wearing a diaper. And his diaper was sagging the entire time. And he got up a lot. And I'm like, dude, don't nobody want to see this, bro. Don't nobody want to see this. But yeah, man. It took I was there they gave me some Toradol. They put Toradol in an IV. That's how bad I was in pain.
What's Toradol? I'm not familiar.
Toradol is a pain.
I'm not a street pharmacist. I don't have that background, so help me out.
That kind of scared me too, because I don't do drugs, period. So when they started telling me they told me the drugs that they was putting me on was the same ones that Future rap about. I said, I'm about to die. Like if I don't die here, I'm gonna die in there. Like right now, they got me on basically they got me on lean and oxy right now. Like this is not what the Lord has for my life. But yeah, they put me on a Toradol IV, and then they went and did a X-ray. And they did the X-ray, came back, and they thought, and this is a reason I know we was going to talk about some lessons I learned in the hospital. And I said this on I made a status on Facebook earlier, like lesson number 1, don't self-diagnose yourself before you go to the hospital. Like just go in there, let the doctor do his job, his or her job, tell them the symptoms and move out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because I just told them I had pain. And they were like, all right, we're going to do an X-ray. They immediately said kidney stones. Like before I even sat down, they was like, oh, you may have kidney stones. So then they was talking about my gallbladder. They said, yeah, you may have gallstones. I'm like, gallstones? I didn't know that was a thing. I'm like, ain't that like down here by your hip? There's like, no, it's up here by your lung, actually. I'm like, wow, I should have paid closer attention to anatomy. But so first they saying gallstones. After that, then they did they did an ultrasound on my on this whole area, and they were still saying gallstones. But then they did an MRI. It is where things got crazy because I was starving, and apparently before you get an MRI, you're not allowed to eat anything or drink anything before you get the MRI. And they were telling me it's like excuse me, it was like 3 a.m. And they were like, yeah, you're going to get an MRI soon, so you can't have no water or nothing. And that's probably why my voice sounds like this right now, because they didn't let me have water. I literally went almost 24 hours with no food or water because it's like 3 a.m. And what they did was they didn't schedule an MRI. They basically just said, you're going to get in when you fit in. So, and we don't know when that's going to be. So since we don't know when that's going to be, you can't eat or drink because it could be now. It could be 2 hours from now. So you can't eat or drink anything right now. So as I'm waiting for this MRI, they give me an actual room. They like officially admit me into the hospital. And while I'm in there, they finally say, all right, you're going to get your MRI at midnight. And so it's like, by this time, it's like 6 o'clock. It's like, yeah, you can't eat anything past 8 o'clock, but you're going to get your MRI at midnight. I'm like, all right, bet. Let me get a salad because I ain't ate nothing heavy in a minute. So let me just get some light. And I'm going to just sit here and watch TV. I have my whole plan because at that point, I'm still in pain. So I have my whole plan. I say, I'm going to wait till like the very last second to get my pain meds, go down there, take that MRI like a champ. So they gave me my pain meds at like 11. I'm like, I'm cool. 12 come. There's like, come in and get my vitals. I'm like, am I y'all about to do the MRI? Oh, they didn't tell you? They moved it to 4. I'm like, what? I could have been eating more. So then they moved it to 4. I get there and actually they come back in at like 3:30. They say, yeah, they'll be coming any minute. They didn't come get me till 5:30. When they came and got me, they wheeled me down there and the first lady come out. She's like, yeah, you need to change it to this gown because at this time I'm still wearing my regular clothes. You need to change it to this gown. And the second lady comes out. She's like, Jason, what you doing here? I'm sitting here like, hey, I know you. And it happened to be your mom, kid. Yeah. It just so happened. I said, look at God. Got my auntie in the MRI, doing my MRI on me in my darkest days. And so I didn't even know she worked there. Had no idea she worked there. She was like, what you doing here? I was like, man, that's crazy. So she gave me, I'm doing the MRI, which I'm in pain now because they gave me my pain medicine way too soon. And and they put like the big old little space sheet on you, but it's heavy. And then they put this other thing on top of that, and then they fold my arms in like this. And then, you know, I'm a big fella. So that MRI thing is like squeezing sausage into a tube, you know, and so I'm all like this, which made it hurt even worse. And she gave me this little ball. She was like, squeeze this ball if you feel like you can't go no more. I said, I am going the distance. I ain't got time for this. She was like, all right, yep. It's going to be 45 minutes to an hour. I said, I may go 20 minutes. Do what y'all can in 20 minutes because this junk hurt. And so I went the whole thing and I said, that was the first, I won't say crazy. The first way I knew God was with me in the hospital. Second way was I'm sitting there and the doctor comes in, starts explaining. This is the first doctor that actually comes in and explains stuff to me. I'm like, why does she look familiar? She looked real familiar. She's explaining stuff to me. And because all the other doctors came in and said, these are the tests you're doing. I'm like, all right. And so I was waiting for them to tell me stuff. So when she done talking, I'm like, did you used to train? Like, did you have a personal trainer at LA Fitness? She was like, yeah. I said, what's his name? Evan. She was like, yeah. I said, I signed you up for personal training some years ago. She was like, I do remember you. She was like, all right, now we really got to figure out why you're here. Yeah. And I was like, look at God. And that's just a testament to, you know, character, man. You never know who you're going to meet down the line, who you're going to need down the line. Because if I was like any other LA Fitness salesperson and just conned her into a personal training package just to get some money, I'd probably still be in the hospital right now.
That's how they do it.
Let me out. Like, oh, so we're going to do another test. We're going to check your reflexes, lift your arm up and hit me with a hammer or something like that. But yeah, man. Yeah, that was when she was the one who actually ordered a CAT scan on my chest where they actually found that there was pneumonia there, blood clots. She gave me all the medications and whatnot, and then I got to use this little thingy once an hour, every hour.
Get your breathing right.
So what?
Get your breathing right.
Yeah, because they said at this point I'm still at risk to if I don't get my this lung is excuse me, this lung is still not working 100%. So I'm still at risk to get another pneumonia stacked on top of the pneumonia that's already there. And then also it can just because what that does makes me breathe deep. Like, you know, you got to take like real deep breaths. But the problem is the more my lungs expand, like I said, it hits that wall, my rib, and it either hurts or it makes me cough. And when I cough, it hurts too. So it forces me to do that. And because I have to do that, if I don't take those deep breaths, though, they say I could lose like the usage of that lung completely. You know what I'm saying? So I have to do it. You know, it's painful. It's not the most fun thing, but I have to do it. They say I got to do that every hour that I'm awake. I got to breathe into that thing 10 times every hour I'm awake. And yeah, like I said, other than that, they got me on lean, a muscle relaxer. Actually, I don't know. I don't know
why. They got you on lean?
They got me on codeine, not lean.
Okay.
They got me on codeine, a muscle relaxer, blood thinners, oxycodone. It's 2 more. Another cough suppressant so that I don't keep irritating myself. And a stool softener, because all those drugs combined can give you constipation.
Okay.
So yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that with us and kind of walking it through. I do got a few questions. If you don't mind. So you said one thing you learned is what was the first thing you learned? My bad.
Stop self-diagnosing yourself.
Stop self-diagnosing. So it sounds like you've been on WebMD, Google Scholar, etc., just trying to understand what's going on with you. Is that correct?
I did when they said something about, because originally when they said I had gallstones and whatnot, the original plan was to remove my gallbladder. And I was like, do I need that for real? Mm-hmm. Like, can you just take that out? So that's when I went and I went ahead and did all the Googling. However, when I was in that line of beds in the emergency room, everybody else who came in there, like after the old dudes left or whatever, and they brought new people in, all of them came in. It's like, yeah, I think I did this. I was on Google and they said I did this. And the doctors took them to do a test. They came back. They was like, yeah, no, that wasn't it. You did something totally different. And I'm just like, y'all just in here being wrong, just spending hours of your day Googling stuff, worrying about stuff that's not even happening. You're all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew somebody. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I know somebody who they had started getting like this little film in their mouth, and they was like, I don't know where this film in my mouth is coming from. And they start Googling, and they was like, oh, it could be a sign of mouth cancer or something like that. Come to find out, all they really did was change their toothpaste, and the toothpaste side effect was it leaves like this little white film in your mouth if you don't rinse out very good. So I'm like, man, you over here scaring yourself.
Yeah.
When all you had to do was read the bottle of toothpaste. I'm like, yeah, man, let them do their job. Like that is the biggest thing I took, is let doctors do their job.
Okay. So what's the second thing you learned?
Second thing I learned is and this is on me. Black people get upset when people do their job correctly. Because I was in there like that will get a black person very mad, is when they doing their job correctly and you just trying to figure something out. Because I'm in pain, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure like the nurses, all of them, their job is to make me as comfortable as possible, keep me in the best headspace as possible. I'm in the worst pain of my life on my way going to get this MRI. They put me in the wheelchair, and my man's want to talk about my hair. Like, oh man, your hair is awesome. And I wanted to uppercut him with the strength of every fighter on Street Fighter right then and there, because I'm like, dog, I don't care about my hair. Shut up right now. Talk about some, yeah, man. I know somebody who had hair like that. They grew it out for 7 years. And of course he was white, because black people ain't really that, amazed at people with locks. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, your hair is great, bro. And then at the time, like I said, I was wearing one of my shirts. It said Black King. He was lying on it. He was like, oh man, that's great, bro. That shirt is awesome. I was like, this white dude is woke in the mug, first of all. But he needs to stop talking to me and just give me some drugs. That's all I really wanted right then. Like, I need some, because they switched me from Toradol to morphine. And then they switched me from morphine to, what's it called? Start with a D. It was something, but it worked the best. It's like, because they don't really, unless you really need it, they don't keep you hooked up to the IV the whole time. They keep the little passage thing there, so they just inject it into there, but they don't have you walking around with the IV like they used to do no more. So what is it called? I can't remember what it's called, but that didn't work the best. But then when I got admitted, they was like, yeah, we don't got that on this floor. You gotta go back to morphine. And then they went from morphine to Norco and Norco to Oxy. But like every time they came in trying to be nice and like, okay, well, we can see. I'm like, don't see, do it. I'm in pain. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man. I realized that I want to write, like, give them all a card to apologize, because like I wasn't mean or rude, but that I'm just like upset. And I realized that's just the case, period. Like around the board. Like you go somewhere. I remember picking up a pizza from Hungry Howie's, and it's like you could tell the dude had to be new, but they was busy, and he just doing the best he can, and everybody in the lobby is just going in on him, like, what's going on with my pizza? He's like, man, I don't know. Like, that's why you think they got me at the register. I ain't making no pizzas right now. And so yeah, but no, that's another thing. Another thing.
Okay. And then, lastly, I would ask, how was the food? I mean, you were there multiple days, so
the food was actually straight.
Okay. Well, what was on the menu? It wasn't no Chick-fil-A.
Shoot, they had I was at the Henry Ford and West Bloomfield, so they didn't have Chick-fil-A. But like I said, the first day, I hadn't ate anything like heavy for real, so I basically just had a chicken and kale salad. Then for breakfast, I had like Dilaudid. That's the name of the drug. I'm sorry. My man's Dilaudid. I don't even know if it's probably not how you spell it, but that's exactly what it's called, Dilaudid. That don't put you together. You will feel nothing, and you'll probably fall asleep. But
Yo, Will, hold on. Will come in the clutch. I feel like this is not the first time he's come with the answer for something we talk about. So shout out to Will.
He's gonna be on here one of these days. We're gonna get on here one of these days. But yeah, no, the food was straight. Food was straight. My problem was my stomach was still a little sensitive to a lot of sweet stuff. So like when they came and brought me like, pancakes and stuff, I love pancakes. I couldn't even mess with the pancakes for real.
Yeah. And then my last one, actually we got some questions in the chat. I just one more question is still to the food. How was that food compared to food they gave you in high school?
Way better.
Okay. Way better.
Yeah. Way better.
Because I felt like when I was in high school, other than the spicy chicken wings, it felt like we were, it was on par with the hospital, those mass distributed type of food providers that kind of go through.
Yeah. So the high school, really, the only thing I remember that was like good was Bosco sticks. I don't remember nothing else.
Okay, that's with the cheese in them.
I don't remember nothing else that was like real good like that. But Bosco sticks got me together. Between Bosco sticks, what do you think? Them tacos, I ain't trust them tacos like that. Salisbury steak, because the only people who can make them is TV dinners and lunch people. But yeah, that's why my man like Mike Leary said, "Care hungry." He said he just care about the food.
Hey man, that's what I lead with, and then we do other things,
Yeah.
Jason, so you go ahead.
Go ahead. I was about to transition, but you make sure be transitioning to the same thing.
So wait, you started off the conversation just talking about just being sick with COVID from the last podcast. The pandemic has impacted a lot of us, particularly Black and brown people. And when you think of our community, we know a lot of people that have lost their lives, lost their abilities, maybe their jobs as well. And then you contracted COVID. So how does that play with your stance on vaccines, COVID, the pandemic in general? Like, how are you feeling? Has this changed your position? I don't know what it was, so help us understand what that is. And what are you thinking?
That's funny because I was just about to pull up Mike Larry's comment. How do you feel about the vaccine? So the funny thing is, while I was in the hospital, there's two things I was able to really educate myself on because I didn't have too many channels on the TV. One, I became an expert sports analyst. All I had was ESPN, ESPN2, CNN, and CNBC. And I became an expert sports analyst. I can argue with the best of them for whatever is going on right now. Next week, probably not, because I ain't watched nothing. But you talk about the NFL draft, Steph Curry, anything's going on right now, I can argue with the best of them. But the other thing was on CNN, I saw a whole lot of stuff about the vaccine. And that's one thing I did do some more research. I had already did research on it, like some light research. But after seeing some things that they were talking about on CNN about the vaccine, I'm still at this point in time, I'm not saying never, but at this point in time, I'm still not comfortable taking the vaccine. And my original stance on the vaccine was because it was too new. It was too new. They developed it for like 6 months, and after in that 6 months of development, there's supposed to be 4 steps in developing the vaccine, and they skipped 2 of them. And this is something that I found out recently, in some of my recent research, because they skipped 2 of them, and they rolled it out as in for emergency usage. Technically, because it's for emergency usage and they skip steps, it is still considered an experimental drug. Technically. Now, I'm not saying the experimental drug is a bad thing. Could be, may not be. Once again, y'all, that's not a COVID cough. That's my lungs hitting my ribs. I got to give a disclaimer. I'm going to just put that on a shirt. Like, that cough is my lungs hitting my ribs. But there's a lot of other red flags I've seen on it too. But if I were to get the vaccine, it definitely was not going to be the Johnson & Johnson one, because I don't even know why they decided to throw their hat in the race, because that just didn't make sense. They immediately out the gate, they say it was like in their trials, it was only 66% effective. So it's like, if in your trial, your controlled trials is not even 70% effective, it's not even a C. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I wasn't going to get that. If I got one, it was going to be between Pfizer and Moderna. Everybody that I knew who got both of them, Pfizer, they're doing better. Like Larry said, they had baby oil in the Johnson & Johnson one. Yeah, Johnson & Johnson one was the only one that was scented. It was tear-free with cucumber watermelon. But yeah, it was Pfizer and Moderna. But then I started looking at some other things about it. And I did not know this, but the FDA has not approved either one of those vaccines yet. The FDA hasn't approved them. 40% of the military refuses to take it. 40% of the not they're not available to take it. They refuse to take it. That is a huge red flag to me. Like, and they were saying that a lot of people 55 and up are more willing to take it, whether it be military or regular people. They're more willing to take it than the younger people. And I don't know why that is, but I do also know that the majority of the older people that I know who get it, they dancing fancy free. Whereas the younger people I know who got it, they the ones who seeing a lot of they getting extra side effects and stuff. Now, the one thing I will say, a lot of people are trying to bring up the whole, I seen people, they dying or they going into the hospital after they got the vaccine. And that is a very small percentage. Like, I'm very fair in my research. It's like the same percentage of people who go to the hospital after they get a vaccine is the same percentage of people who go blind getting LASIK. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I believe the number I saw was 77 million people have been fully vaccinated. And out of those 77 million people, only 5,800 have been hospitalized with COVID since they've been vaccinated, which they actually factored in because they call those breakthrough cases. Like, the COVID is going to break through somehow, some way. So I don't really look at that. My biggest issue, which is still long-term effect. Like, it came out so fast. Everybody just wanted to take it to, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to make it seem like I'm knocking people who took the vaccine. If you took it, that's your decision. Me personally, long-term effects are huge for me because I plan on being here for as long as the earth is here. I plan on being here for as long as the earth is here. and God sees me fit to be on this planet. So if something happens, 4 years from now, and it has something to do with the vaccine, first of all, they can deny it because they don't have any research that long to say that could be from the vaccine.
Yeah. No, so I want to kind of revisit a few things. You talked about the military, 40% are refusing to take it. That feels like a headline to me, because if you switch the headline, it's like a Fox News, CNN, and said 60% of the military has taken the vaccine. You would maybe kind of receive different thoughts and results about like what that may or may not mean. And so I definitely see it that way as well. And I'm one of those people who have been fully vaccinated. A lot of reasons kind of went into that. Number one, access. While Detroit was one of the highest, kind of peaking COVID case places, they were also prioritized as far as vaccines. And the way I move, I'm really involved in the community, really involved with my family, giving back, got a lot of side hustles. I thought it was my responsibility to make sure I'm safe when I'm engaging with people, to help them and kind of do it in that way. But I shared the same skepticism as you, in thinking of kind of the testing and the lack of, the typical process. It wasn't as standardized. It may not have been as much rigor to it as well. But, I did take a personal choice and chance to do that. And then furthermore, I do know a lot of people who are working in the hospital system. You talked about my mom's earlier. And that took it. So that gave me a greater confidence, knowing that those medical workers are using it, and those are the people we're relying on every day. So I use that. Michael Larry threw in the chat, it was some baby oil in the vaccines, and Johnson and Johnson or J&J, some people call them that. They have had some interesting histories where baby oil, baby powder. They didn't name the vaccine baby anything, but I understand the sentiment of people kind of being a little bit reserved and what they're going to do and how they want to engage, and just waiting it out. I don't think it's anything wrong with waiting it out at all.
Yeah, I think one of the things, one of the bigger things that has me reserved to wait it out is because I do have a daughter, and if something happened 4 years from now, she just turned 7. You know what I'm saying? And we couldn't even celebrate her birthday because of COVID. But she just turned 7. So 4 years from now, when she turned 11, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I took the vaccine and something came up, now I got an 11-year-old with either a halfway functioning father or I'm not here. You know what I'm saying? So I need a little bit more assurance of what it does long term before I actually go into that.
Yeah, that's real. I appreciate you sharing that. Also, over the last couple of weeks, a lot of things have happened. One of the things that you say you were on CNN and ESPN, and I'm pretty sure they both talked about this, DMX passing.
DMX.
Do you got a connection to DMX, or what was the first time you heard of DMX, or what do you remember about DMX from your youth?
DMX was one of my favorite rappers. DMX was a very underrated storyteller, because everybody was caught up in the barking and the off the wall stuff, the different ways he said he gonna kill you or whatever. But DMX told stories. He was a very low key storyteller. I'm trying to think of. I don't think I have any stories where like DMX was like real, like central to the story. I mean, workout music, you know what I'm saying? The workout music is cold. It's one of the few rappers I didn't have to debate people about, because like everybody messed with DMX. So it wasn't like I was like, oh man, DMX is better than such and such. I'm like, yeah, I mess with it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, and it honestly, I felt a kind of way once he did the verses and then he was out so much. I'm like, something about to happen, because whenever people pop up out of nowhere like that, it just is a red flag to me. Like older rappers, they pop up out of nowhere, and then it's just like they time is ticking or something like that. I don't know what's going on.
Grow around. That's what you think?
Yeah, most of the time, and it's sad I think like that. But like whenever they pop up out of nowhere, and it's like out of nowhere, they just start being everywhere, and I'm just like, yeah, they getting their flowers before it's over with. Like, that's all this is. And so, luckily he was able to get his flowers. They gave him his flowers tremendously in that versus battle. He did that song with the Locks right afterwards, which was pretty sweet. Apparently he had a new album coming out that had a lot of newer artists on it and whatnot. But yeah, rest in peace, of dog. Rest in peace, of dog. I did. I'm gonna have to retire. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna retire them jokes. I had some jokes about DMX. You know what I'm saying? Because if you listen to some of his lyrics, he one of the hoodest rappers ever, but he be saying some questionable stuff. But like, who gonna check him about it though? So yeah, but that rest in peace. I will say another thing that had been going on for a few weeks prior to this that I was posting on Facebook. Mike Leary was getting tired of it, I'm sure, was the TV show theme songs. The TV show theme song break. I don't think I officially announced the winner.
Okay, hit me with it.
And we can dive deeper into this next week when Devontae back on, because there are so many upsets that I was just like, I started getting mad at the upsets. Like, at first it was funny to me because I'm like, oh snap, Darkwing Duck beat Good Times. How did that happen? And I was just laughing because everybody else was mad. But then it started getting out of control. But ultimately, I'm not mad at the winner. The winner of the tournament was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
So
respectable.
That's a respectable winner. But I definitely could see if I had more time and actually made the bracket differently and had it where it was like, 90s TV shows, cartoons, 80s TV shows, or had the different regions, it probably would have came out a lot different, because there's this was it not. I think it was Fresh Prince in a Different World. There's a lot of people who refused to vote. They said it was too hard. That's
a good championship matchup then, for real.
That was the final four for that side.
Okay. Oh, for that side. Okay.
The other side, it was Pokemon versus something, and I was very surprised Pokemon got into the championship, because the championship was Fresh Prince versus Pokemon.
Okay. My reasoning for that is demographics. Just like different people who are on the different venues, Facebook, Instagram, different people who follow you, follow me, follow us, kind of in those things. I think that kind of skews some of the things that way. But I think that's who it was for as well, right? And so I'm not surprised to see Pokemon. I think Darkwing Duck went further than I thought it should have went as well. There was a few of them that were going further, and I was like, hey, we need to shoot those dead in its tracks right now.
I just knew DuckTales was going to beat Pokemon, and Pokemon smacked it. I said, what? How Pokemon beat DuckTales? But yeah. Shoot. What else? You got something else that happened over the last few weeks?
Yeah. I characterize this kind of like the joy as resistance. Currently we're still in the midst. So today was the last day in the closing arguments of the Derek Chauvin trial. Derek Chauvin is the police officer who put his knee on George Floyd's neck for, we now know, over about 9 minutes. Now is the more update of the timeline. So they were the closing arguments, and there's a lot of anxiety in so many communities who are connected to this, concerned about this, for good and bad reasons, right? I live in Minneapolis. They're bordering up the downtowns and doing things like that in anticipation of unfavorable verdict, which can happen at any time from tomorrow, to some weeks from now, right? And so that's definitely going on. And I know a lot of people are feeling that as things are coming out, and just the way the case is being prosecuted. I feel like they're setting us a tone and a message that it probably won't go the way that we like, just kind of based on the way it's been prosecuted, the charges, and the interpretations of the legal professionals. But additionally, there's been a lot of other things happening with police and targeting Black and brown people. There was that Black Army lieutenant who was in uniform, got pulled over by those police officers at it looked like a gas station.
It looked like a gas station.
Yeah, got talked to crazy. He was compliant. He was doing what he needed to do, held his ground, being respectful at the same time. And I shouldn't even have to say those type of things because it was very clear. But the aggressive nature, language, and disregard for just the humanity of that person was just disgusting. Additionally, in Minnesota as well, police murdered a young man named Dante Wright. I think he was like 19 years old, had a young daughter. And, as of right now, allegedly, the officers, or the police community is saying that it was a mistake and a kind of obvious mistake. She seemed to have said taser, pulled out her pistol, and shot him within the confrontation. And so someone who's trained and highly trained, we would definitely expect a different set of skills that were used and put in practice and would have different results. And so it just feels like a lot of kind of excuses were put there. And I'm appreciative of body cams now because I can really do my analysis as well, And then also there was another
so basically police being police right now and just out here killing everybody.
Yeah.
All these black and brown people.
Yeah. And so I mean that impacts everyone, definitely as a black person, with black friends, black family. I haven't started a family, but if I do, I'm gonna have black offspring as well. I see those people and in a lot of those different cases. I also have police officers in my family as well. And so I'm always open to have conversations with them about the situations, the scenarios, the expectations, the practices. And they've been very candid with me about, what the opportunities are within that as well. But also there's racism within police force towards other police, right? So learning those type of things as well. And so it's pretty heavy on a lot of communities. And I'm not saying that only black people are feeling this. I think people of all shades and creeds are feeling it as well. But as a member of this community, it definitely hits home and adds another layer of thought and heaviness to me in the mornings for sure.
Yeah. Chris Rock said it best. And, they were saying that there's bad apples in the police force. And he said there's some jobs you just can't be bad at. He said, like, you can't be an airplane pilot and be bad at an airplane pilot. Like, as an airplane pilot, like most of the time we land our airplanes, but every once in a while, like, you can't do that. I believe police officers are one of those, especially when you're going to protect and serve. Like if I'm running for help and I'm running towards a police officer, at the way I look right now, I feel like they're going to see me as a threat if I'm running to them for help because somebody behind me may have a weapon or something like that. But
based on your stature, your color, your hair, your physical presence, all those different things can be perceived so different. And, I can at least relate to you with the stature thing because I get the big person bias all the time. I walk into people acting scared for me to get in the damn elevator sometimes. And it's like, yo,
you cocky
please relax. Like, I should be scared.
I say, I see.
Cocky
kid, what they call them.
But just having those experiences and being reminded of it every day. You go in the grocery store and people act a certain way. I just said going in the elevator, going to all shapes of your life. You definitely get reminded of those behaviors and those biases, and so we're supposed to be moving forward. We got rid of a previous president who seemed to champion some of those things, and so it doesn't seem like we're taking the momentum that we all intended. But I believe that we all have a role in the effort to kind of make sure we're doing our part as well and talk about it.
Yeah, most definitely. I heard somebody say that you got to start off at your own house. Houses changes neighborhoods change cities change states change.
Okay.
As I can't remember who said it. I ain't gonna take credit for it, but I heard
somebody use it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you got to start off at your own house, whether it be people seeing what you're doing at home or you getting the people at home equipped to be able to talk about it when you actually do go out. So, that's what it is. All right, we've been on for 45 minutes. I got to do my breathing thing. And I ain't trying to have everybody watch me struggle to get this.
I got one more topic, though. I appreciate the breathing thing. Can we do one more?
We do one more, but this thing right here. What happens is this thing right here got to go up right now, right? Yeah. It don't go up here right now. Right now, it go about right here right now. And so I need to do this as often as possible so I can at least get it up to here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you got one more topic. That's cool.
One more topic. As a comedian, I see a few comedians in the comments here. Donnell Rollins was on stage last week before, got roasted by another comedian. They were just kind of like, he wanted them to go back and forth. They went back and forth a little bit, but then it felt like Donnell conceded and his jokes weren't landing as well, and he recognized that. I just want to know your immediate thoughts on that, and then how are comedians supposed to handle that scenario in a professional setting, in a professional way, like while you're on stage, and then what's the aftermath conversation about that type of situation?
Well, even though you sent me the video, I did not have time to watch it.
Okay.
But just from a comedian's perspective, well, once you welcome that behavior, excuse me, with another comedian, and both of you guys have a microphone, it's on. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have de-escalated that by just not, participating. I didn't see if it was in the middle of a set or if both of them were already up there or what was going on prior to it happening. Like if it was an organized little roast battle or whatever, or whose show it was. Because as a headliner, if it was Donnell Rollins' show, then I'm pretty sure that whoever it was who roasted him ain't getting booked there no more, unless it was somebody who was bigger than Donnell. But it feels like, what I'm saying, like some random person that Donnell just, oh yeah, you can do some time, and they just ended up being up there and going back and forth. That comedian's career is either made or broke. You know what I'm saying, depending on how the relationship with the club owner and Donnell is, because that blackballing is real.
Yeah, it was on the Kill Tony show. I don't know if you're familiar with that show at all.
I've heard of it, but I don't think I pay attention to it like that.
Okay.
But yeah, most of the time, really no conversation afterwards, especially like depending on how disrespectful it gets, or if it's just like, all right, he got me today. Sometimes you just kind of fade away. But if we get too disrespectful, sometimes it's just like it's not a lot of I don't want to say a lot of, but in my opinion, there's no reason to get off the stage and just fight somebody because they just out funnied you. You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, it's like, all right, you roasted me. Either I'm going to come back and get you back, or whatever. I'm still getting booked more than you. I'm still making more money than you. So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like most roast battles like that are welcomed by both comedians, especially if both of them have a microphone.
They did.
Yeah, both of them have a microphone. Chances are that was, I don't want to say staged, but it was like that was the event for the day, and just one of them just lost real bad. You know what I'm saying? Tyson got knocked out here and there.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage you, check out the video for sure. You know what? Check out the video, post it to your page, and share some of your thoughts after kind of seeing it. But the way I see it, bro, is I liken it to like rappers, right? There's some rappers who can flow and kind of get it going and get you loving the stuff, and some aren't freestylers, right? And so that's kind of how I see it. I'm not a comedian, I don't really know, but like some people just can't shoot off from the hip and like fire and have that type of accuracy, and some don't really know how to play the dozens either, right? And so their funny is just a different element, different kind of sense, and so I saw it as that. I think Donnell Rollins is generally like a funny, silly dude. I appreciate him. But I didn't see that skill set that I anticipated I would. No.
Everybody don't got it. Everybody don't have it. And then at the same time, some people have it, but they gotta is a momentum thing where it's like they gotta get a few of them back to back to back to back to back. And then all right, I'm on now. And then it's like you ain't about to, I'm done now. You're finished. Yeah. Good luck. But other than that, like it's everybody don't got the off the top of the head. Like I did a show where it was an improv show where he did like a Wild 'N Out type show, but it was all comedians, and all of them didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has it's not saying they can't have it. It's like a muscle. You got to work it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do it, then, and you go against somebody who does do it, you know what I'm saying? You may be You may be the strongest person in your household, but then go to the gym and be the weakest person in the gym. You know what I'm saying? So you may be funny and be able to roast at the crib, whatever, but then go see people who do it for real. It's a totally different story. So yeah, that's the way I see it.
I appreciate that. Bro.
Yeah. So so we're gonna end it here. Just so y'all know, we back. As long as I'm not high on any drugs that they done gave me, because they done gave me narcotics. I had to sign paperwork before I took them out the hospital. Promise I wouldn't give them to nobody else. But before we go, I'm just gonna say this one last thing. Stop trying to normalize everything. Everybody trying to normalize everything, and in my opinion, it's eliminating individuality, and that bothers me. It's turning us all into robots. So stop trying to normalize everything and just be yourself. Normal is whatever you feel like is normal. I always say normal, being weird is normal, because we're all made differently. So stop trying to everybody be the same person. So that's all I got to say. Thank everybody for y'all prayers and y'all thoughts, y'all text messages, y'all calls. If you did call me while I was in the hospital, I apologize. It hurt to talk. It really hurt to talk. I could not speak. Like every time I talked, my rib was like going crazy. So it hurt to talk. And they wouldn't let me have visitors, bro. That was another thing too. It was lonely in there, bro. I couldn't have visitors. It hurt to talk. I could text, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody trying to text all day. Like, it just made me realize how much I really don't like texting like that. But yeah, anybody who called me, text me, sent prayers my way while I was in the hospital, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. There's a lot of people who I did not think would be checking on me the way they was checking on me, and I appreciate it. There's a lot of people I didn't even think would check on me at all, and I appreciate y'all for that. So until next week, I'm Jason Jamerson. It's my man Kev B, and this has been the Jason Jamerson Podcast.